Alright, what is up guys, it is Storm back here with another video, and in this one, I am bringing you part 2 to Mightless, a My Hero Academia story by the Mysterious Banana. Now, if you want to read this story for yourself, the link will be down in the description below. But before we begin, if you like the content you're seeing, then be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I mean, they're all free, so why not? If you want some dope channel merch, the link to that will be down in the description below. And if you just want to see more of me, go check out my other channels and go follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which will all be linked down below. But without further ado, why don't we just dive right on in. Izuku woke up in his bed earlier than usual. He touched his pillow. It was wet, probably because he cried himself to sleep last night. The reason why? He had completely forgotten. But he is still certain of one thing. He will never look at heroes the same way again. That faithful encounter with All Might just might have killed his hero career before it even began. Too dangerous. Not strong enough. Those words were stuck in his head, and it jammed the needle deeper into his bleeding heart. His lack of a quirk was so laughable that even the hero he sought to be like his entire life looked down on him. "This is bullshit," he said to himself. Looking at the clock, it was 5:30 a.m., about an hour earlier than his usual wake-up time. Laying back down, he attempted to re-enter his sleep, where he could at least dream to be a hero, but to no avail. He couldn't sleep, not with crying away all of his energy beforehand. Getting up, he saw no reason to stick around, so he quickly made himself breakfast and ate in front of the TV. There was currently an interview taking place with a recent hero named L'Oreal who had a hair manipulation quirk. He used to love this channel as a kid, as all the inspiring speeches he always felt like were directed to him, but something about this interview nearly made him a hurl. And remember kids, anyone can be a hero, as long as you stay healthy and always take L'Oreal vitamins. It was common for heroes to advertise their own products, but all Izuku could think after hearing that was All Might's fan club VIP special card. He tried to give him in order to hide the dream he just Detroit smashed. It was disgusting and obvious commercialism. What Izuku found saddening, however, was that none of that hero's words were reaching like they used to. Getting rejected by All Might was a real drag to reality for Izuku. And now, most of the words that confident-looking hero said he felt would not have been used when addressing people like him. He then froze. People like him. Yeah, right. What he meant was only him. For the record, he was the only quirkless human on planet Earth for all he knew. It was depressing. Why him? He thought his tears streamed down his eyes. Why him? It was at all times like this where he would go to the park or the mall to clear his head. After all, there was no rush. It was a Saturday, the usual day where he would do things outside like a walk in the park or to a mall, where he would stare and admire the local pro heroes showing off, or maybe, if he was lucky, bump into some passing Yuuei students. Speaking of Yuuei, he knew that the hero entrance exam was gonna happen soon, and he used to be real excited. It was just next year and he'll soon be a pro hero in training. But now, heroism just doesn't appeal to him anymore. He simply wished to relive the same adrenaline rush of happiness he used to get when helping someone. But that was only because it was what passed off as saving someone to him. The mall would probably be a good place to start, Izuku said to himself, looking at the clock. Ingo woke up just as Izuku headed out. Walking downstairs, she noticed that the TV was left on. Izuku must have left it on before he left, she said to herself. While making breakfast for herself, she looked out the window to see her child heading towards Main Street. "I just hope he's okay," she said to herself, as on the contrary to Izuku's belief, she knew Izuku wasn't feeling well. She just didn't have the heart to ask why when she heard the thrashing. The day was beautifully sunny, and the fresh spring wind blowing through Izuku's hair was soothing. A therapeutic treatment Izuku came up with when he felt down. Enjoying life's aspects that didn't need quirks was his initial way to cope with his problems, and he was relieved to find out it still worked even after his denial phase. "Goddamn wind," cried some passerby about his age. "It's messing up my hair. I spent so much time brushing so it wouldn't look like a porcupine." "You should have used hairspray, buddy. The strong kind," said the other. "Oh, trust me, it would take a whole can to immobilize my long hair," replied the other. Izuku didn't pay much attention, as he was approaching his destination. While the mall was usually most late grade schooler and high schoolers' hangout spots, it wasn't easy capturing such results when you have no friends. Well, almost, but it was pretty obvious Bakugo was more of a bully or acquaintance at best. Besides, he was probably back home, still recovering from yesterday's villain attack. The sudden thought of Bakugo, however, made him shiver. Memories that were once hazy in his head had become crystal clear. He was enjoying the suffering of others. He was never sadistic, far from it. So the mere thought of laughing at a pair of eyes crying from help was gut-wrenching. What has become of him? It was these kinds of thoughts that he came to clear, but now he realized that it was clearly not working. But he couldn't just lash out. He was in the middle of a shopping district, and chances are he was going to embarrass himself. Trying to find somewhere secluded to sit down, he realized that most stores were empty. Even some shops had 0 customers, or even cashiers and employees for that matter. What's going on? Izuku said out loud. Suddenly, he heard a loud crowd of people. Running towards the source of the sound, he found himself at the center core of the massive mall, where a massive crowd was gathered. One would try to push to the center to see what's going on, but it was very obvious to Izuku what was going on. A hero is making his great debut. "Hey, it's L'Oreal!" cheered a group of fangirls. Great, he's here? Apparently there was a supposed villain attack, and the glamorously fashioned hero just happened to be around, signing autographs. Yeah, kick that villain's ass. This is where Izuku tried to squeeze to the middle of the crowd, trying to get a full view of the situation, but now, heroes just don't amaze him anymore. "Look out, the villain's jumping towards us," yelled one of the bystanders as the masked man, badly wounded, ran towards the crowd, before jumping into the air with all of his might, trying to make it to safety. Izuku heard the yell and turned around, only to see the villain laying prone in front of him. Just then, it was as if time had slowed down. Izuku and the villain stared at each other like 2 deers caught in a headlight. Izuku didn't want to, but his eyes was doing it on its own. He was reading the villain's emotions through his eyes. He felt panic, sadness, humiliation coming from him. Then, as if it was his own imagination. But he thought he heard something. "Help me." Help me? A villain, the people he sought to defeat for his entire life. People viewed by society as criminals wants help? Suddenly, hairs came through the crowd, grabbing the man by his ankles and dragging him back. "Oh no, mon ami, we are not done here," he said, strangling him. Izuku froze. For a brief moment, what he saw was not a villain, not someone he was supposed to run away from. For a moment there, all he saw was a weak, poor, tortured kid with no means to defend himself, getting bullied by those who are stronger than him just because they can. Kinda like me. Himself. Is that villain really like him? His world started to crumble. Was he really that similar to that villain? He gazed at the crowd. They were not horrified, they were pleased. Pleased? They're watching a man fighting for his dear life, and what are they doing? Laughing? Cheering for his assailant? Filming this? Where are the real heroes to come and break these two apart? Where's the reasoning behind this? So it's okay to harm the weak just because you're a so-called hero. Izuku clenched his fist, turned around and ran. These people are crazy. No, they aren't. The heroes. They made them crazy. These so-called heroes claim they fight for justice and equality, but what are they really? Bullies. All of them are just like Kachan. I hate them. I hate them, he thought, running to an empty hair salon. Back in the crowd, the villain was on his knees as blood dropped down his cut-up face. "Please, I just need money for my sick brother. If you can take me into custody, at least take care of him," he pleaded to L'Oreal. "Oh my god, look at him, he's crying. Wasn't he so serious when he tried to mug me?" said one of the girls who was his supposed victim. "Sorry lad, villains don't deserve my courtesy." L'Oreal smiled. "Finish him," and yelled a group of his fans. The villain curled into a ball. "Please, help me. Someone," he said softly, with tears streaming down his face. Suddenly, 3 cans were thrown at the hero as a kid wearing an All Might jacket and a face mask with bunny ears coming out of it came running in. "Don't worry, young man," even though he's older than him, said the kid, like landing in between them. The cans exploded as the hero tried to grab them out of thin air, releasing a light mist that covered L'Oreal's head. "For I am here." "And who are you?" said the Oriole in a pissed off tone. "Shit, I didn't think this through. All I had in mind was to hide my identity and rush in to save the man. I didn't think ahead." "Okay, Izuku, just think of something," he thought. "I am anything." "The villain!" The crowd went silent. Then came a sudden outburst of laughter, including the one from the hero. Just then, the man on the ground pulled out a knife and stuck it to Izuku's neck. "One move and the kid dies," he yelled. The crowd was silent, so was Izuku. "Kid, listen," the man suddenly whispered into Izuku's ears, which was surprising, even for him. I'm not doing this to kidnap you, but if you want to live, we need to cooperate." Suddenly, from hearing that, he knew that the villain was on his side, and a grin formed under his face mask. "It's fine. If we work together, we can defeat him," Izuku whispered back. "Wait, what? You want to work with me? Shouldn't you be on his side?" he whispered back, looking towards the hero. "It's a long story. Now, what's your quirk?" Izuku asked quietly. "Not much. All I got are these mini cannons I can form under my fingernails that fire needles. That's just the quirk I need. Now, what's your name?" "Sachiko. Just call me Sachi for short," said the man. "Well, Sachi, follow my lead," said Izuku. "Listen, you don't have to go through this. Just let the boy go, and I assure you, nothing bad will happen," said the Oriole, trying to negotiate. "You want him? Come and get him," said Sachi, letting Izuku go as he suddenly charged at him at sprinting speed. "Good, now eat justice, villain," said the Oriole, not realizing that Izuku was planning on attacking him. "Special attack. Hair fist." The Oriole's hair formed into a fist that flew towards Sachi, but to his surprise, its speed was greatly diminished and Sachi was able to dodge it easily. What's wrong with my hair? Why can't it move properly?" asked the Oriole in shock. "It's hairspray," said Izuku. "Those cans you crushed were cans of hairspray." "What?" the Oriole screamed. "And you're about to get a second dose, Sachi, now," Izuku said, opening his jacket, revealing several cans of hairspray underneath. "Got it! Porcupine Barrage!" yelled Sachi, firing at the cans Izuku tossed into the air. The cans exploded, covering the Oriole and Izuku altogether. "Ah, my eyes! I got hairspray in my eyes! I can't see!" the Oriole cried in pain. "This is what you get," said Izuku. "What?" "You talk about justice, yet you pick on someone who's already surrendered for your own sadistic ends. You're no hero. Then what does that make you?" the Oriole cried as all of his fans started running away, and as he tried to make his hair budge by even an inch, but to no avail. Izuku grinned sadistically at his comment, and, without any moral or emotional backlash this time around, as if he was finally getting the revenge he longed for so many years. "Isn't it obvious, Mr. Hero? There's two sides to this story. You're the hero, and me, I'm the villain," he said, smiling under his mask, before inserting a pair of barber scissors into the Oriole's stomach. 愛してる